Norocel Geology 13, I guess. Um, where did I leave it last time? I'm joking. I entered university geology. I mentioned some exams. I skipped through though the first major event or encounter with university life in communist days. Back then, you didn't just go to study, you had to do other stupid communist work. Like, for instance, go on a sort of a forced labor camp. I'm exaggerating, this is not Sakharov, and neither were the rest of the team, the colleagues and all, but still, before starting the proper schooling in summer, uh, we all had to students pupils as I don't know, as young as 8 or I'm not sure, but very young. We were at least 18, so we had to go on labor activity for I don't know, was it 2 weeks in the south near Juju somewhere, not far from the Danube, where we went to take a little dip or swim once. I remember. This is where I met Norocel. We were apart, in fact, even isolated by the rest of the guys who had been to army training together. So it's like this. I had an ulcers. I was a unique case with that. They discovered it when I was 9. And people as young as that were not supposed to have, are not supposed to have ulcers. In my case, I think it was something, a treatment they gave me at the age of nearly 2. An uncle had tuberculosis, gave me the bug or whatever it is, and so they had to treat that. They treated it with cortisol, whatever, a medicine which caused the ulcers. It was not good. It was good to treat lungs, but it was terrible on the stomach. Pains and so on, X-rays, and then they found out. So anyway, on account of this ulcers, which is what they call a chronic disease, enough serious enough to absolve you from military duty, which was compulsory back then, I was exempted. So instead of taking the exam, graduating, and then going for how long was it? Nearly a year. It's not relevant actually. If you didn't pass the exam, an exam for university, you went for nearly 2 years, 1 year and 10 months. But those who did benefited from a serious reduction. So in my case, it was that I didn't go with them, with the military guys. Thank God, Allah Akbar. I know from Adrian mentioned in the previous chapter what APV means, Armata pe Viață. Many here in the communist regime joined that stupid system because they were stupid. Army was promoting men, mostly, very few women, on obedience and mindless following of rules. Not initiative is not very good anywhere in the army, I guess, because you need to, the couple needs to control, and then the colonel hire, and so on. I mean, without discipline and strict obedience to the orders, there's chaos. You don't want that in the army, rebels and that. If you're a rebel, you don't join. Here, especially in a communist regime, you can imagine what that was. Adding to it another brainwashing on top of brainwashing, another brainwashing. There's nothing left. A machine with communist propaganda and all that. But these men were together, and that bonded them. They still say that, oh, the army was so good and it made men out of boys. Well, I guess discipline is all right. It's good up to a point, but then having read, just finished a note earlier on Happier, It's one of the stupid sayings. Uh, there's no gain without pain. No, you don't need the pay. As you don't need the army. People live well without the compulsory army today. Here. So Norocel and I met near Juju. I forgot the name of it. And he was also exempted because, or did he go on another team? This is a detail I forget. He was special though. Norocel is like lucky. His name was something like lucky in English, because his birth was a lucky one. His parents were also special professors in geology. At least the father. The mother, I think, was a lecturer. I didn't think she had the whole status, the degree. She had some classes. I was her student, but laboratory, or she was assistant professor. So very special people, but couldn't. I think I also got a little older than the age when it's easy to have children, and Norocel was difficult to get out, and he didn't have autism or anything, but he was special. Speaking of Rain Man, for instance, he knew by heart Walt Whitman, Leaves of Grass, Song of Myself, the PMT, the Poezia Musicii Tinere, poems of young music, Beatles. I mean, Păunescu, alas, that was a bad poet, but still, his memory was that of Rain Man. He needs another note, so I will end up wrap this up here. But he will come back as well as Norocel. He's associated with the stage from high school to university and having a friend. He was a bizarre friend, not just because he was peculiar, but he was, I'm saying, because he died a few years ago. But he, whenever he was on the way to meet you, let's say, and on the way he met other students, colleagues, friends, and they would say, "Oh, let's have a beer." Yeah, but I'm going to meet Ralini. Ah, never mind, you'll get there, and so on. So he would stay with them because he couldn't refuse. He was so good, he couldn't refuse you a favor or anything you asked. He ended up by doing somebody else a bad deed somehow. Well, right, may he rest in peace.